Elden Ring is very unique because you really get to choose how you want to play the entire game. And you can change this at any time you want. Most people love this game because of how well you are able to customize the way you play. As you continue to play through Elden Ring, you end up finding out what strengths and weaknesses your character starts to have. Then, as you level up, you start to spec into different points, which allow you to, fine tune how you like to play as a player playing the game. In Tarkov, it's pretty much the same kind of general aspect where we have, again, different ammo types and different types of weapons that allow you to play much differently. Right now, this is patch 1.9 for Arena, so we still don't have the custom presets, but it won't really matter if I wait to make this video, specifically because we still will have a taste right now of how to fine tune your different weapons to really bring out your strengths and how you like to play. There are very small stats that do make a very big difference that you'll be able to experiment with inside of Arena. And this information is very important because it'll allow you to really understand if you want to play faster, slower, take more time and clear corners, or just play Call of Duty and just try to run and gun as fast as you can. There are big advantages to both in different scenarios as you play through the game. Now, when we choose a class like Falcon here, we can start off by looking at its types of fire. So single fire, full auto, burst fire. Its fire rate, which is 700 rounds per minute. It has 40.5 ergonomics or ergo. The vertical recoil is 65. Horizontal recoil, you won't really have to worry about very much. It's really just the vertical recoil that we'll be paying attention to, as well as the ammo type and penetration value. Because this weapon has a pretty decent rate of fire at 700, it has decent ergo at 40.5, and the vertical recoil seems very controllable. You really want to understand that if I have a really fast fire rate weapon, so something that's 850 RPM with, a 70 vertical recoil stat, the amount of recoil that gun has will be exponentially higher just because of how many rounds you're shooting off. So for me, I like something where I can move around very fast with it, and it's just a very versatile weapon. I like something that will be used for all scenarios, no matter what I'm going up against. The 7N40 round is also a very good round because it decreases recoil and increases accuracy. I will show you in a moment here a very good ammo chart that I highly suggest that you use, because even though this shows me that it deals 52 damage, which is true, and it deals 42 penetration, this means that it will go through tier 4 armor. It still does not give me the in-depth statistics that I need for how it will penetrate through tier 5 armor or tier 6. The way penetration works with rounds right now is by every 10 penetration point, it will go through a tier of armor. So for 20 penetration, that round will go through tier 2 armor, and so on. But again, it does not give me the specifics. If you are a new player and you're watching this, I highly recommend to go to eft-ammo.com because it will give you in-depth statistics of each ammunition in the game that exists. So here we can see that I cannot purchase this on the flea market. I can eventually buy this round from Proper at loyalty level 4 for 981 rubles. Damage, penetration, and then here it goes through, again, what class of armor it could potentially penetrate through. And then they have a key at the top here, which goes over how many bullets it might take to go through a specific tier of armor. There are a few other things that really complement play styles, like what type of meds you have in your pockets or your tactical rig, what kind of headset you're wearing, and your personal preference for that. We're not going to get into that very much today, but a big difference is definitely the weight of your character. So if your character is over a specific kilogram of weight, you will be in a yellow kind of weight category that will make you move slower. And we will see that with some of these CQB classes. So as I mentioned before, when it comes down to the ergonomics of a weapon, we will see here that this HK will have 25.5 ergonomics. So for me, this does not really complement my playstyle because I like to move around pretty quick for the most part throughout the map. And this does not allow me to ready my weapon to aim down my sight as quick as I can with the AK that I just showed, the AK-12. And we do have 57 vertical recoil, but we have, again, 850 RPM. So for me, the gun just kicks around too much, and that ergonomics just really makes me play a lot slower, which I don't really appreciate. But for some, it might work out very well. So now we should be able to quickly understand if I look at this MDR, 650 RPM, 62 ergo, 71 vertical recoil with M80s. You know, this gun is pretty decent, very versatile, mostly because we can run around with it very fast. The lower rate of fire with 71 recoil is still pretty good. It's a very controllable weapon because the rounds are not shooting off as fast. And M80s are a very good round that deals very high damage. Now with CQB, the classes are a bit different, mostly because we're looking at a much higher weight value, which means that you will move slower. But these classes do come with much better armor, so it makes them more tanky, as well as these weapons don't come with ammo or ammunition that's as good as the ones in assault. You can see the penetration value is much lower here. So the ergonomics and the fire rate of this weapon is still okay. For me, it's 600 is a little too slow, but it's still going to be a pretty controllable weapon to use as you're running around with it. And you don't really have to worry about too much with how armored you are. However, you don't have any headset here. Because you're not able to hear as much, you are basically at a disadvantage if somebody's able to move much quicker into a position that you're not really able to see them very well. Because you can't hear them, you might end up being in very bad positions, even though you have much better armor. So a lot of CQB classes are at a pretty big disadvantage, other than if you're holding down a specific objective. So for Scout mostly, you have two different types of play styles in Scout, which is kind of interesting. Grumpy and Weaver are centered more around armor penetration, so that CQB class I just showed is very vulnerable to somebody that is playing one of those two classes, because you can see the penetration goes through even tier 5 armor pretty much instantly. So that's where this gun, shooting off at 800 RPM, high ergo, pretty good recoil, this can shoot off and just obliterate people if you are able to hit your headshots pretty often. I will say the big detriment to the M4 is its rate of fire. If somebody's at a very far range, it's not able to full auto very well because of how sporadic your bullets are going to be. With Weaver, because the RPM is much lower, you're able to really control your shots, especially with 51 vertical recoil. It's just a very good 74U build, and is one that I'll probably be using in the main game. Now with these two classes being centered more around armor penetration and headshots, we have the Vampire class, which this ammunition is centered more around dealing damage to specific body parts. So with the way this ammo works in the game, if you completely unload on somebody's leg that's wearing the best armor in the game, eventually they will die. And the way that it works is if I am to completely take out this right leg, I have 65 health, right? We have 130 damage that is being spread between each body part. So what that means is once the right leg in this example is blacked out, it will kill very fast if you just keep shooting somebody in the leg, because eventually once their head, loses all of its health, then they will die. So, and you'll get the kill. And it's a decent way to play. That's why they call it leg meta, because people are just completely destroying people's legs and taking them out. When it comes back to the gun as well, you'll see that that fire rate is 1,100 rounds per minute. So you will completely be able to shred somebody's legs, especially with how many rounds that we have here. And it looks like we have a slightly different round as well, which they included recently, I think. So if you wanted armor penetration, it looks like you also have that option here. But again, it shoots very fast and doesn't have a lot of recoil, but you'll definitely feel it because of how fast that RPM is. And it exists. It's the marksman presets. Some of them are very good. I have completely been destroyed only like once by a full team of marksmans. I don't know if they just knew the map extremely well, but they definitely knew how to play to their strengths. Being able to have just high damage, high penetration, being able to just blow through people's armor and just completely destroy them is very useful. But we have this 27 ergonomics weapon. Recoil is pretty high. It's just that one shot that you have to make count. So you have to be very careful with this class because it's very high risk, high reward. And in my opinion, the reward is just not. It's just not my play style. I'd rather just run around and move and play tactically, which is why assault is my personal preference. With all that information taken into account, here's a few clips of what you can achieve with practice, dedication, and the right information.
Oh, he was fucking... Oh, shit, I didn't realize he was going in right there. That's
Oh my god. Nice shot. Easy ace.
If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It definitely helps me out a lot because I'm super small still as a YouTuber. I do stream on Twitch as well. That will be down in the description. I hope you guys found this information very useful. I will see you guys in Tarkov. See you later.